With Tottenham Hotspur scraping through against Eintracht Frankfurt to get to the semi-finals of the Europa League, they are just 3 games away from finally ending their 17-year trophy drought. So, let's dive in and answer the question, can Spurs finally win a trophy? Now, let's start off by addressing the obvious. It's been over 17 years since Spurs last won a trophy. Let that sink in. It's been so long since they last won a trophy that there's actually been 4 World Cups and 5 European Championships. And if we're just trying to make it Spurs related, they've spent over £550 million on players, and they've had 10 different managers since then. And you know what? There's an absolutely unbelievable list of things that I could mention, but the last one I am going to say is Harry Kane made his Tottenham debut, played 435 times, scored 280 goals, won nothing, and left. So yeah, it's been a very, very long time. But to be fair to Spurs, it's not like they've been rubbish. Or at least not the whole 17 years anyway. Since their Carling Cup final victory against Chelsea back in 2008, they've actually reached 4 finals and 7 semi-finals, but for some reason or another, it just hasn't happened for them. I mean, if you just look at this team on the screen now, of players that have played for Spurs and never won a trophy with them, it's quite, frankly, unbelievable. I mean, if you just look at that attack, Kane is arguably the best ever striker in the Premier League, and he never won a single trophy at Spurs. But it's not just unbelievable players that have been at Spurs and not won anything. They've also had some great managers over the years too. I mean, they've had Harry Redknapp, they've had Mauricio Pochettino, Jose Mourinho, and even Antonio Conte most recently. And they've all won nothing during their time at Spurs. But could this finally be the year? Well, for Ange Postecoglou, he really, really hopes so. All the way back in September after Spurs lost 1-0 to Arsenal in the North London derby, Postecoglou said in his press conference after the game, "I always win in my second year." Now, that's a very big statement to make, especially considering the pressure that comes with being the Spurs manager. Now, somehow, after an awful season in the Premier League, where they are quite lucky that the teams in the bottom 3 are awful, Ange still has a job and somehow has led Spurs to the Europa League semi-final. But are they going to win it, really? Well, they faced Bodo Glimt in the semi-final, who did beat Lazio over 2 legs in the last round. And they have also beaten Porto, Olympiacos and Besiktas, all in the competition this year. So for Spurs, it may not be as easy as it first seems. However, with Spurs being at home in the first leg, I think it gives them a little bit of a disadvantage. I do think Spurs will win the first leg at home. But Bodo Glimt have been very good this season at home. Like I said, they beat Lazio, Porto, Besiktas, Olympiacos, all at home. I think if Spurs win by 2 or 3 goals at home, then it should be job done. So I am going to predict that they do get to the final. But then again, do they win the final? Or is it another final loss for Spurs? Well, before we even talk about the final, let's talk about the second semi-final between Atletico Bilbao and Manchester United. Now, this is a very, very hard one to call, and I think it's a huge advantage to Man United that they are at home in the second leg. We saw what happened in their second leg with Lyon at home, and I just think if they don't lose away to Bilbao, then they can get to the final, which then sets up a Spurs and Manchester United final. And after how rubbish they've been all season, like I said, they're both very lucky that the bottom 3 teams have been awful. I don't know how we've managed to get to this point. Now, after Ange saying that he always wins something in the second season, he's in a really weird situation. If Spurs do win, his ego is going to absolutely go through the roof. And you know, after all the abuse and hate he's had all season, he can simply just turn around and say, you know what? I told you so. However, if Spurs do lose, it's just going to look like a massive idiot, and it is going to be very embarrassing for him. And to be honest, I can't see him winning the trophy. I do think they get to the final, but I don't think they beat Man United or Bilbao, no matter who they face in the final. Personally, I think Ange still only got a job anyway because they're still in the Europa League. I feel like if they got knocked out and, you know, there wasn't a trophy left to win, he's going to get the sack. And to be honest, even if they do win the Europa League, I still think he's going to get the sack at the end of the season anyway. I just really cannot see him being the man that takes Spurs into the Premier League next season. So to answer the question, can Spurs finally win a trophy? No. But guys, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this the year that Spurs finally win a trophy? Now guys, if you did enjoy this video, then smash that like button, and while you are down there, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out your day to watch my video. I really do appreciate it. All the support is great. Yeah, make sure you stick around, and I promise you won't regret it.